Welcome everybody to the YouTube podcast of the Luca Mariano launch and barrel pick. Myself, Tiny, Super Nash, and Young Nose, along with Roxy, went down to Danville, Kentucky on a rainy Sunday afternoon, and we were there for the launch of their whiskey brands, and then also Francesco Viola, who is the founder and owner of Luca Mariano. He was there to share his vision of what that campus is going to look like. Right now, there was nothing but a tent on 53 acres and an old house that is in ruins that they are going to restore. And we were there by invite from Randy Prasse, a Scotchy Bourbon Boy, and also the president of Kentucky Bourbon Festival. We were there for the first ever Luca Mariano barrel pick, which was fantastic. We barrel picked with the Justins from Justin's House of Bourbon. Randy was there, Steve Coomes, myself, Super Nash, Young Nose, and then also Tyler Mayne of he is best known for playing Michale Meyer in Halloween, but also the original Sabretooth in X-Men 2000. And then we did the barrel pick. Mcalley from Wilderness Trail was also there, and we did the barrel pick. Fantastic time. Went through. We've got a little bit of video footage for you there on the barrel pick. We got a little bit of video footage from when Francesco shared his dream, and a little bit from the party all around. Lots of pictures, and then also we podcasted. Here we go.
Spirits of French Lick is proud to introduce the Matty Gladden Bottled and Bond Bourbon. This 4-year aged bourbon is double pot distilled and non-chill filtered, and has a full-bodied mouthfeel with eucalyptus, molasses, clove, ginger, and slight citrus, as well as grains of paradise. The finish is long and reappearing on the back of the tongue with notes of pepper, tobacco leaf, and mint green. All of our spirits are available for tasting and purchase inside the French Lick Winery and Distillery. Spirits of French Lick. Respect the grain, please enjoy responsibly, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey!
Yeah, I had those Moroccos right there for you.
You remembered!
Hello everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode or podcast.
It's both.
Of the
It's an episode of the podcast.
Of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Yeah! Woo! We are together through technology.
Together but not together.
Right. What were you going to say, Martin?
I said we're together but not together.
Yes. We've got Super Nash via FaceTime video so that everybody can hear him on the YouTube that we're doing, and also see him a little bit, because if you look at the camera right there, that's him FaceTime in front of his microphone. It feels really kind of weird, but you know, we are a little weird, that's for sure.
You got that right.
Yes. So, some exciting news. We are now getting really close to having all of our sponsorship billed. We've got a couple things in, but the Spirit of French Lick
Alan
Bishop. He definitely, we were down there, we did the podcast, everybody's heard the podcast, and we have re-upped to make sure that that's still a thing. So you heard the Maddie Gladden ad before, and the stuff that he's doing there with when we were down there, the apple Hoosier brandy, right? Super Nash, that was awesome for you getting there for the first time, wasn't it?
Oh, man, that was awesome getting down there and getting to meet Alan and getting to taste all the apple Hoosier brandy and the Maddie Gladden and the Lee W. Sinclair Iconoclast. Yeah, it was great. Good time.
Yeah, and then what was awesome is we were able to pick up even the regular Lee W. Sinclair and the Weeder. I picked up the Weeder. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that was some good bourbon.
But the William Dalton with the oak toasted oak staves, that just was amazing. I wish we were there so we could have purchased a couple bottles. I did ask Alan to set one aside, that's for sure. That's some delicious bourbon.
Yeah, it was.
And then also, what was it? The one, it's done right. Do you remember? You should remember. The Right Way, right? The whiskey that was, yep, The Right Way, which was bourbon aged in absinthe barrels, which is pretty cool. It's pretty good. So the Spirit of French Lick, here's to you, Alan. We love having you as a sponsorship, but we also are in a sponsor looking into hopefully welcoming 2 more sponsors that we'll be able to announce in the near future once that's finished. So that's going to be pretty cool that we're fully sponsored going forward. But
Yep, with that said, just like to introduce ourselves again to our YouTube viewers out there. We are the Scotchy Bourbon Boys podcast. You're watching us as we do this live, no editing, no filters. It's actually a lot of fun. So.
yes, it's a blast. We are everywhere on social media.
Yeah.
We are on Twitter at the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We are on Facebook groups, Facebook page. Please join our Facebook group. We also, all podcast formats, we're everywhere as far as the podcast formats, which is pretty cool. And then last but not least, you can find us on www.scotchybourbonboys.com. Check that out. When you're there, make sure if you like what you see, it tells you all about our Facebook Live, Whiskey Live events. It tells you about, gives you a little history about Young Nose. It gives you a little Super Nash and myself along with Xavier. And then the last but not, if you have a shot at clicking that Patreon button, we are the Scotchy Bourbon Boys on Patreon, and we have some damn cool swag in our different tiers of support. But Patreon, folks, if you can support us on Patreon, we have a few sponsors. It's starting to go. We're kind of excited about it, but if you can support us, it allows us to do so much more. We are super excited about it. Just click on it in the top right-hand corner. There's a Patreon link, or at the bottom of the site, you also can click on it there. So check us out on Patreon. One of the actual things you can get if you're a supporter is the Scotchy Bourbon Boys glass. We have t-shirts, paintings. I've done some whiskey paintings and stuff like that. That's all available through the Patreon.
Yeah, I think you did that pretty good, Tiny.
I'm starting to
Yeah. You're starting to get good at it.
starting to do a little bit better, but what I got to do is concentrate on letting everybody else participate. I'm not the only one.
Yeah, that's okay.
I might be tiny, but I sure have a fucking big mouth, don't I?
Yeah, that can happen sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Today's podcast, we brought Super Nash on, along with Young Nose and myself, because one of the things that we did when we were down in Kentucky was we were at the launch party for Luca Mariano whiskey and distillery. And it was also the Kentucky Bourbon Festival barrel pick, which we were invited down to do. And we didn't know what was going to happen when we got there, but it really turned out to be a great things. So what we got coming up in a few minutes is we're going to be tasting 5 Luca Mariano whiskeys that they have. Ryan has so graced from Luca Mariano, what would you say, friendly or awesomely. I'll go with awesomely, not a word, but awesomely.
It is now.
Yeah. Fuck the dictionary, right? So awesomely sent us up 5 samples each.
Yeah.
So we have a Scotchy Bourbon Boy meeting that we're going to tonight. So I don't think we can drink. Me and Young Nose are splitting our samples, and I don't even think we're going to get that on the tasting. Otherwise,
these are some pretty hefty sample sizes.
Yeah. Otherwise, we're going to be 2 shits to the wind.
So thank you, Ryan, for your grace and your generosity and
we've got
your welcoming heart. So we thank you for what you've done for us, for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, and what you're doing for Luca Mariano down in Kentucky.
I've got my Luca Mariano t-shirt and my awesome Luca Mariano hat, which I will, no, I won't. It's going to be on this way for this podcast. I like to wear my hats backwards, but I ain't taking off the glasses and the headphones. And
besides
that'll just blow the whole thing up,
and
right?
you can't even see the logo. They wouldn't even know it's Luca Mariano.
Excellent, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I unfortunately forgot mine at the house.
Yeah, but that's okay. You're Young Nose. So
The Mariano shirt that we got while we're out there too.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. So that brings us to their new member part of the podcast, and this week we got 14 new members. So
I've seen those notifications coming through like crazy. It's just like this person wants to join. I'm like, wow, what's going on?
So the group Cast Chasers has joined the Scotchy Bourbon Boys.
Woo!
Vonnie David, Kevin R. Raymer, Jeff Joyner, a personal friend of mine from way back in advertising. Great shout out, Jeff. I'm glad to have you here. Glad to have you listening. We talked earlier in the week. It was pretty cool. Then we've got Kevin Dant, Tom Merrick, Ricky Edwards, who basically is in charge of making Greg Schneider's chicken cock bourbon barrels. He is the barrel. He works at the cooperage and in charge of getting that wood out of the forests.
That's a very important job.
In West Virginia. Then it's Jay Tyler, Scott Smart, Brian Thompson, William Stanborough, Chris Hucks, Aaron Conkle, and Trevor Wells. And you know what? I'm getting good at that too.
Yeah,
read over that a couple times.
Welcome everybody to the Scotchy Bourbon Boys group.
So now my glasses can come off because now the rest of the reading goes to Young Nose. What I wanted to do is one exciting thing that happened. We are going to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, and we're going to be there for a whole week. Super Nash is going to be there along with Xavier and Mrs. Xavier, and also Roxy. But the week before, we've been booking up, and we basically have a cooperage tour set up. But the Wednesday, which is Wednesday, September 15th, we have booked the tour on the Kentucky Bourbon Boys tour guide bus service. They're going to limo us around to 3 different distilleries. Thank you. I picked Jim Beam, I picked Maker's Mark, and I also picked I always have it. It's not
Prestige.
Prestige. Or is it pretentious? No,
or is it preservation?
It's preservation. That's it, not prestige. It's prestige worldwide. No, anyways, it's Preservation Distillery. And we're going to be going down there, and if they get whatever, but we have 5 of us, but we booked it for 10. So we are throwing out.
You mean you didn't want to go to the barrel house and watch them slap the mash with the shovel again?
That's in Lexington. We stayed close. They're going to pick us up at the house we have rented. So what we're offering to some 5 Scotchy Bourbon Boy, people, if you're not in the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, you can join the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, but join the group, and for 5 lucky members, it's $200 a piece. You can bring your, your spouse or whatever, but $200 a piece. 5 are open, and it's going to be, you're going to be on the bus with that Wednesday, September 15th. If you come down for the Bourbon Festival, come down a day early, because it starts on Thursday night, but come down, and you can be on the bus touring with Super Nash, Xavier, Roxy, Tiny, and Mrs. Xavier. But there's going to be prizes. We are going to be having a blast. So if you come along, there's chances to win whiskey, there's chances to win Scotchy Bourbon Boys swag. We have some cool stuff set up. So that's going to be coming up. I will be posting that to fill the 5 spots on the bus, but if it's something you want to do, it's really cool. We just announced it, just booked it yesterday, so we're offering up those 5 spots for 5 lucky other Scotchy Bourbon Boy people. I think we're going to set up a couple flights we are going to have some good
tasting
rare whiskey along with us, because we can drink in between all this, and we are going to offer up some flights. This will be a whiskey bourbon extravagant experience.
Yes, it will.
So, with that said, going forward, we are ready, I think. I think we covered everything for this part, right?
Yeah, we're good. We're good for this first half.
All right,
We'll catch up the rest on the back end here.
Yeah, okay. So let's get to talking. Why don't you, we're going to start with the ryes. So, Young Nose, get that rye.
All right, I'll get
Get
the rye
get that first rye. Show everybody the bottle. It's the Old Americana rye.
Yep.
That's
Luca
the first
Mariano, Old Americana, small batch, Kentucky straight rye whiskey. This is 83 proof.
So what we wanted to do is, while he's pouring, Super Nash, the actual barrel pick, which we'll talk about specifically in a couple minutes when we start drinking the single barrel, and then the Luca Mariano, I believe it's called their signature bourbon, correct? Yeah, when we get to that point, we could talk about exactly, but the barrel pick, that's the first ever barrel pick Super Nash that you were on, correct?
That's correct.
Same,
And it was awesome.
Same here for me, too.
yeah, for Young Nose, yes. So what did you think?
Man, at first I didn't know what to think, didn't know what to expect, and then they brought out, and we did a single barrel pick, and we picked from 5 samples from 5 different barrels to begin with.
And there's a label on the side that talks about the festival being the 30th anniversary, and that this is to celebrate the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. And then we have the select label on the side, it's the coin, and then it'll have the barrel number, bottle date, and the year and month of the barrel.
And between the group of us, I believe there was about 10 to 12 of us total. We narrowed it down to 2 of the barrels, and then we did a blind tasting between those 2 barrels, and you pretty much came up with I believe it was like the barrel one.
Yeah,
Right, it was.
barrel number 1.
It was
went out.
right, and it was between 1 and 2.
Great idea. So what's everybody's favorite? You guys got a favorite? One. Two. Two. 1 and 2. Think about 1.
Now, I initially thought 2 2 was better when I first tasted 2. I liked it. It had a very unique taste. It had some bananas and pineapple even to me, and it was unique from the other ones, which were a little bit spicy or a little bit normal Kentucky bourbon. And I had initially voted for 2, but when we put 1 up against 2, when they went head to head, that's when after drinking all 5 and then going back and revisiting those 2, I agreed with the number 1 pick. That was the better of the 2.
Yeah, I know I wasn't part of the official panel, but I really enjoyed number 3 and number 2. So those were kind of the 2 that I was toying with. But number 2 was good. Number 1 was good also, but for me, number 1 kind of seemed more like a normal barrel proof bourbon.
I agree. So, with that said, let's get the fucking drinking because I'm ready to drink. I've been wanting to drink. I've been smoking a brisket all afternoon for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys meeting. It's right now on there, wrapped in tinfoil, and my special thing.
Out on some good brisket.
I wish I could send you the brisket.
Yeah.
But I did come through on your package, right? You got the head.
Teased me all the whole podcast with it, and then I got to sit through the meeting and hear y'all talk about how good it was.
And then I'm gonna post pictures on Facebook, and you're gonna have to look at it too. But it's not like you don't fucking do that to me all the time,
yeah,
Mr.
right.
Grill man, or modern distillery guy.
I guess it's kind of payback time.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do the rye right
This
here.
definitely smells like rye whiskey.
It doesn't have the bad smell that I hate. I don't smell any old man's urine yet.
Yeah.
I get
Not yet, but that was on the taste. That wasn't the smell. With the old man's urine in your heaven's door, the smell was just straight.
I don't get
pickles and celery.
I don't get pickles and celery on this one. I get sweet.
Just kind of ties some things together. We have the old
I'm getting tired.
The old Americana rye, same idea, 5 barrel small batch, 89 proof. Then
I wish I knew what that. I get a little bit of oak.
I get a brisk fragrance of lemon zest. It's like a nice sweet but sour, but not fruity, kind of like a lemon zest.
Wow. Holy crap.
With a little slight dill on the back on the smell. It's pretty tasty.
I get lemon and I get wheat. I get a lot of a little bit of wheat. It's like I get the grain wheat. Not a bread. Just a grain. And the taste.
I get the bacon spices and I get that wheat grain too.
On the taste.
It's not like a yeasty bready wheat.
And there's a little bit of rye in there, but there's no of the astringent stuff that I don't like. And then it's sweet, and I was getting exactly what you said, the bacon spice, and then I get a little bit of chocolate, and I get a little bit of the wheat. Again, when you're talking about this is a rye, but this reminds me of the toasted barreled Michter's rye in the same sense. It's
really got beat up front on the taste, but I can't quite tell what the sweetness is.
But whatever it is, it's good. This rye, which is the Americana rye.
Yeah, this is the
which I was not expecting this.
Yeah,
that's a good rye.
Yeah, this is very tasty.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with there is a wheat grain, there is some sort of a grain. It's not the yeasty bready that you would find in, like, say, the Spirit of French Lick, the Wheater. It's not that kind of a yeasty taste. But there is a slight sweetness to it. It does still have a little bit more of that citrusy note. So the lemon zest that I get in the nose does carry over onto the taste just a little bit. But it finishes rye whiskey. So on the finish, for me, I do get a little bit of that dill, a little bit of that like pickle, herbal, but it's not overpowering. It's very good.
We're only going to barrel bash the signature in the end. Okay, there,
Yeah.
Mr. Super Nash. But that rye, you know me, I fucking hate rye mostly. But that is not something I hate. I enjoy that. Actually, that is something that if I was going to buy a rye, I don't know if I ever will, but I would consider buying that. That's for sure. So as Young Nose pours himself a little bit of water, and then also hits us up with the next, which is the small batch rye, Luca Mariano. You can do that too.
No, this is the single barrel rye.
Single-
We just did small batch.
6 years, 103 proof, single barrel rye. And what we have here,
We just the old Americano. Okay, so
Here's your water.
I'll give you a little bit of history. In 2010, Francesco S. Viola decided to bring his old family recipes for Italian-inspired bourbon and rye whiskey back to life. Through years of experimental distillation, Francesco perfected his Italian grandfather's recipe, and what started out as a hobby quickly grew into a passion. After years of refining the recipes, Francesco perfected high-quality bourbons and rye whiskeys that he wanted to proudly share with the world. Establishing Luca Mariano Distillery, LLC, in 2010, Francesco, I already did that, still, Francesco knew that the best chance for success was to build an inventory of properly aged, highly quality bourbons, ryes, and let the product fund the distillery.
Sorry, I didn't know you already poured yourself.
Francesco, we met,
Yeah.
and he was awesome.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
a
he's
really cool
Sicilian, and my wife has Sicilian heritage in her family, and he was just super wonderful talking to everybody. But Super Nash, you should be happy about that. Francesco initially started with distilling in his garage, and he thought it was fucking legal.
Until he actually talked to his lawyer.
Yeah, it's like his friends told him it was illegal, and he didn't want to believe it, so he called up his lawyer, and his lawyer's like, it's illegal.
you know, in 2010, I had the opportunity to take out his old still and play with it and get to remember him. He died in 1999, and while I was doing that, I invited some friends and some neighbors over, and I was smoking meat, kind of like what we're doing now, but on a smaller scale. And one of my neighbors told me, you know, this is highly illegal to be distilling in your garage, and I didn't believe him. I didn't believe him at all. And so what ended up happening was, I thought, well, I have an attorney that works for me, Matt Froberger, and so on Monday I called Matt and I said, hey man, is this legal or not?
Without a license, and so that kind of was the genesis of, well, why don't you get me a license, we can make this legal. I think we actually got confirmation of the license on New Year's Eve.
We did.
In 2013.
Just before.
Did you celebrate?
I did, for sure I celebrated. I mean, it was a great day. I mean, I was going to celebrate anyways.
I think for me it was more relief than anything else that I actually did it right.
So we were, you know, we learned on the job here. You know, my attorney was not an attorney for the bourbon industry, so we kind of learned together.
But he did a lot of his perfecting.
Got the permits and stuff like that.
Yep. All right, we're on to the next. This is the what?
Yes, this is the single barrel rye. It is 103 proof.
Oh, excuse me. That's usually you're doing.
Really, really good.
All right, I'm ready to. I don't want to spit it out.
This doesn't smell like a rye.
No, it does not have that rye smell. It has a more of a
floral.
subtle oak, a little floral smell.
It's got more of a floral.
Yeah, and the color is like the color of a amber beer. It's got that amber color.
When I first was smelling and nosing this while we were at the tent for the Luca Mariano Festival, if you want to call it that, it had that floral smell to me, and it smelled like what you would get a raw honey. Has that clover kind of a
Yes,
smell.
it's definitely honey for the sweetness, and there's a lot of it. And that would be called a launch. We were at the Luca Mariano.
The launch.
Launch.
Right, the launch.
There you go.
Okay.
Another rye that I'm not spitting out. And I don't get any of the bad astringent. There's some nice oak on that too.
Yeah, you do get a little bit.
That's pretty
sweet.
Yeah, that's sweet. Thank you for sending these ryes up, Ryan. That was like, cool.
Yeah, this is very tasty.
Let's just finish this off. I'm going to pour some water in mine this time. So
Okay,
I
I will not pour you extra water.
And now we're going.
Drink like 103 proof.
No,
Yeah, this is very good.
it's like I could drink
I
those.
really like this.
What's the size of the bottles, Super Nash? What size is that? 1.25 or 3? Is it a half of a 375 or? I mean, I'm trying to figure out what the ounces is.
These are 750 milliliters.
No, it's not. That would be a
No,
full
it's not.
bottle.
That's a full bottle. The label says 750, but the bottle is not.
Yeah, you've been drinking a lot. If you think that's
I was just looking at the label.
well, the label is for 750, but it's not 750. I think it's a quarter. So 750 is 375. What's half of 375?
It's
On the bottom, very back bottom of the bottle is 100 milliliters.
It's 100 milliliter. All right. So that's
still a pretty generous sample size.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So it's actually probably about 4 ounces.
Yeah, which is at least I had some.
You're gonna have some for later there, Tim.
Yeah.
All right, so which one are we on to next? We are on to the Luca Mariano Old Americana Small Batch Bourbon.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm going to just show you our products real quick. You know, we learned a little bit. We did our launch 2 years ago on April 26, 2019. And here 2 years later, we listened to the critics and the bloggers and everybody that... So this used to be a 4-year product at 83 proof. We thought we could compete with, you know, some of the bigger guys. But we realized that what people really want is a craft product at a little higher proof. So we decided to go to 89 proof because it's our entry product. It's something that if you want to get to know us, maybe start here. It's at the lowest price point, and it's 5 years, 5 barrel small batch, and it's at 89 proof. So we have our Old Americana, which is also the name of our band.
This one, so we're dropping back down to 83 proof.
And this small Luca Mariano small batch is right here.
Yep.
And it is a high rye bourbon. It's strong vanilla and caramel on the nose, mature and full bodied with charred oak and mixed spices on the mouth, finish with the charred oak and peppery finish. So when we were at the barrel pick and the launch, which was an amazing event, there was food, there was good. There's a band. I think it's called the Old Americana Band, if I'm not right, if I'm not wrong. That's tied in. That's tied into Luca Mariano, and
we have some real talent here. Kenny's played with Caden Smith. He was on the Georgia Borderline tour 2 years ago. He's played with some of the biggest names out there. I think he even played with Taylor Swift once, I think. Yep. So, I mean, he's a real star, and we know a lot of people. We're going to try to bring some real good acts and celebrities here. So,
they were really good, and along with Francesco giving us his, which I have a good part of the speech that we'll be playing on this part of the podcast for the YouTube members, but his speech was pretty.
Hey, thank you everybody for coming. It's a real pleasure to have all of you here at our future distillery. Kenny Fuller, he leads our band, the Old Americana band. He's great, he's wonderful. He and I have known each other for over 10 years and have been writing music, telling our story. And what's going to be coming up after my speech here is our original set. And some of it's going to talk about our bourbon, some of it's going to talk about this property, and some of it's going to talk about, just having a good time. That's all we're about, is about having a good time, enjoying life, and with our friends, family, with good bourbon, good rye, and great food and music. And we have Luca, my son, and that's who the distillery is named after, is Luca Mariano. And Mariano was my grandfather, my no-no, and just talking to people and really just thinking about things. I didn't realize it until yesterday that my grandfather, he came to this country when he was 44 years old, and I'm 44 right now, and I couldn't imagine leaving my home and coming to this country, or going anywhere, and starting fresh. And he was here for 7 years before he started sent for his wife, before he was legally able to bring over his kids and their families. And so my parents came over in the mid-70s. My cousin Rita, she was the last to be born of those in Italy. She's bartending over there. And so her sister was the first one born, and I was the second one born in our family in America. So it's, my grandfather had a dream, American dream, and unfortunately it took his entire life to get here and to bring his family here, but he passed on the idea of how to distill, how to make whiskey, and it was a love and a passion of his that we bonded over. We bonded over many things. And one of the first things I did is I'm part of the second graduating class of Moonshine University, and I got to, it was a great experience. I was already working in my garage, and I had taken it as far as I could. Some of the coolers that you see in back, those were my fermenters. I used those coolers as my fermenters after I cooked. And at the university, I met a lot of good people, and Pete Kamer was one of them. Pete came to my house. He thought he was coming to a distillery, which wasn't quite ready yet. But we went in the garage, and he helped me take our new Vendome still, not working with my grandfather's still, and kind of really take our recipes to the next level. I kind of hit a plateau. It was really important to me to really master our craft, and he helped me take it to the next level. And thank you, Pete. And so, what ended up happening is, shortly after that, I felt like I got this. And Rob from Vendome, he and I had become friends at Moonshine University. And Rob and I told him I'm ready. I have property in Michigan. Let's build it. I also had an opportunity. I owned a bar for a short term in Nashville on 2nd Street, and we were going to build it. Let's build a distillery. And he said, "Listen," he goes, "we're friends. Let me introduce you to somebody." So he introduced us to Shane Baker and Pat Heist at Wilderness Trail, and it was quite an honor. I mean, these guys took our recipes at Firm Solutions. We spent a lot of time developing our recipes and dialing on our yeast, and these guys, using their science and technology, really helped us to perfect our craft. And so I'm very thankful to them and to what we've been able to do. And what ended up happening was, why buy a still at this point? Why don't I invest my money into barrels? And so they've allowed me to be actively involved in the making of our bourbon. It's not like we're just buying it. And so what was able to happen is when we made a contract and we started to work together, and we did it over at Brothers Barbecue, and that's our pit master that's responsible for all of this food today. His buddy, his partner, Robin Jones, is also helping, so they both have done a great job. And he and I, this is what really happened, is after we signed and everything went forward, I stayed. We had nothing else to do. Our business was done, but we didn't have to go home anytime soon. So Matt and I hung out all day at Brothers, and we became really good friends, Mike and I. And I realized how special the people are in Danville. Mike is special, the people that were going in there, and I fell in love with Danville at that moment in time. And so what happened was we decided we needed to find a piece of property. And so I had Danny Highfield, which is the president of my company. I asked him, I said, we need to find a real estate agent in Danville. So Danny and Dan found Dan Campbell in Danville, all these Dans, you know. But Dan Campbell had a vision for this property. And so this was the first property he showed us and the last property he showed us. And he took us around all over Bardstown, Frankfurt, Louisville, Lexington, everywhere in between. We went everywhere. And this was the last place he showed us, and I fell in love with it. The story behind it, you have William Crow, his family founded Danville, which this town used to be called Crow Station. And this is the oldest home in Kentucky, and it's unfortunate that this home is falling apart. We bought it, a few years too late. It already started to fall apart before then. But we do plan on making this our focal point of our village that we're building. And this will probably be a bar that we're going to have for people to have an aperitivo before they go into one of our restaurants. So we're very excited about restoring this historic building. And it's the oldest home in Kentucky, and we want to pay respect for that in the stoves. This is a future product. All the bourbon is named after men. So we decided it's time for ladies to have a bourbon named after a female. My daughter is Gianna Loren. Thought, why not? Let's do that. So we will have a Gianna Loren Rhine bourbon. This is going to take a little bit longer. I want it to be a little higher in age. The goal is to get to about 7 years, and that's the idea. It's our rye is a low rye, about 55% rye, and the bourbon is a wheated bourbon. So we want to make sure it's at least 7, maybe even older. So this is something to look out for in years to come. So here's our site plan. And what we want to do the minimal development on this property. We want to really restore the William Crow farm, the original farm, as much as we can, its original integrity. And so we're going to keep just our minimal brick houses over here. The very first brick house will be this one right here. That's the one that we're building, and the infrastructure to get there. And then when we go to build our distillery, it'll be in this area right over there. So we want to do something unique, have our own look and feel. And because of Big Earl and his tobacco barn, we decided to go with more of a tobacco barn look and feel. But with our research, with our engineers, there sometimes is a non-desirable spot in a rick house. And learning from Wilderness Trail's smaller brick house that they have, that you can kind of replicate that by doing a 3-level, and then put another 3 levels on top that are indented. And it really helps with the airflow. And what our belief is there's not going to be a bad spot in the rick house. The airflow, the heat, it's going to be better maintained. And then actually there's an attic there. It's kind of modeled after some things that we've seen in like Key West with the high heat, having these attics. It'll hold a lot of that heat, and then we can open up the windows and it'll really help push that hotter air out in the summer months. And all the while keeping and maintaining heat during the winter months. So we wanted to have something unique. We didn't want to look like everybody else. We wanted to have our own look and feel. And this is the beginning of what we're creating here. One of the visions that we have is we want to show that we're an Italian family, but we also, that what makes sense in Kentucky. So we want to pay tribute and respect to Kentucky architecture, looks and feels with the landscape, but we're going to bring our personality, our Italian heritage, our Italian culture through food, through experience, through through how we treat our guests. And so we're going to be doing things a little bit differently, but we're going to be creating a really wonderful place for people to stay. There's going to be, on the second and third levels, will be a boutique hotel for people to come to. There's going to be, this is the chocolate factory overlooking the amphitheater, and there'll be trails all the way around the amphitheater. And so there'll be something for everybody. Not everybody wants to drink bourbon or go on a bourbon tour. So those that may be interested in chocolate or desserts or baked goods, they can go on their own, Willy Wonka type tour, So we're going to be building a nice village with a lot of things, and our whole goal is to go and to attract the locals. Everything we do is for our local community. We want to put them first, because this cannot be successful without local support. So we want to cater to the locals first, and then if they're happy, then we believe that everybody else will come too. And so that's our goal, is to do something really special for those that live in Danville, Boyle County, and the surrounding area.
There was just a bunch of stuff that happened. The barbecue was set up 2 days before, so they were smoking brisket, chicken wings, chicken, and pulled pork, all available afterwards. There was as much whiskey as you wanted, so you had to really be careful. We did that barrel pick with Steve Coomes, the Justins from Justin's House of Bourbon, us, me, Martin, Super Nash, and then also there was Randy Prasse from Kentucky Bourbon Festival. El Presidente. He got us there. It was an amazing time. Then there was Jennifer and Frencesco. Jennifer was the person who was, she was the face of Luca Mariano, pouring the picks out and having us, set up. And then there was Mcalley from Wilderness Trail. And we were doing that pick with some very, very good bourbon aficionados that had been going around and doing, I think in the end, there's 17 actual picks, but we will be getting a bottle from this pick, and then we also will be getting a bottle from my Knob Creek pick, which is really kind of cool. But then Randy, he informed me that the law in Kentucky has just been changed, and that all these barrel picks for Kentucky Bourbon Festival will be available at a bottle store at Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Really fucking cool kind of shit. So that if you are listening to this and Scotchy Bourbon Boys are going down, we're going to be at Kentucky Bourbon Festival in September. It's September 16th through 19th. The 15th, we're going to be on this tour, touring the distilleries that we'd love to have 5 of you come. But if you can get there, this is going to be the bourbon event in the world with what's just happened. They've got it set up so that it's going to be safe. It's going to be in September, so it's going to be sunny and whatever. And it's going to be, it's a limited amount of people, so there's not going to be 50,000 people going through. There's going to be more in the lower parts of thousands. And then it's all going to be set up to be a safe, cool event, but it's happening. And that's the most exciting thing about the Kentucky Bourbon Festival happening. So we're excited about that. So let's get to the first bourbon.
Then we move on to our single barrel, which is now a 6-year. It's going to remain there. It'll be our 6-year product. It's 103 proof. And it's everything we do is Kentucky straight bourbon, Kentucky straight rye. So the same bottle.
Yes, we're finally onto the bourbon, and I'm really loving the nose on this one.
No, this is definitely high rye. I smell the rye. I smell more rye in this bourbon than I did in the ryes.
I don't agree with that statement.
But this is close. This is close to me. This is really close to Jim Beam. It's got that hazelnut taste that I always smell that's there.
This is...
Honey.
What was that, Martin?
I said I smell vanilla and honey and oak.
Yeah, I totally get vanilla custard pie is what I get on the smell.
That's why they call you young nose.
Yeah.
My old ass nose is not getting vanilla custard pie. That's for sure.
Vanilla custard pie, man. Like, you got to put your nose at the bottom. It's like that's where I found that vanilla custard smell. I'm like, what is that?
I get
Right on the bottom.
see the vanilla and the oak usually make that hazelnut flavor for me. So it's really similar to me to Jim Beam on the nose or a Knob Creek. But all right, so here we go. Ooh,
That's interesting.
I was for a second there able to get some vanilla custard.
Yeah.
For a second.
Mm-hmm.
But overall,
The body mouthfeel on this one is a little bit thicker, even though it's a lighter fruit, which is interesting.
but there's not much of a finish and not much of a hug.
No, there's really no heat. There's no hug for sure.
This would make a wonderful mixer. This would make a good old fashioned. I love the rich taste, and this has full body for what it is. Like you said, nice long legs in the Glencairn, but it doesn't have. It's oaky and a little bit sweet, not a bitter oak on the finish, but then it's not a long finish.
Very oaky to me.
Yes. Everybody, we are drinking and tasting out of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys Glencairns. The Glencairn is the Scotchy Bourbon Boys choice of tasting glass. Crystal. Martin Duffy is.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the Scotchy Bourbon Boys have Martin Duffy as he is the Scotchy Bourbon Boy. I talk to him regularly, and he is been very helpful for us to be able to get our own Glencairns with our logo on. He is the North American glass representative of the Glencairn Crystal Company. They've got Glencairn rocks glasses now. They've got Glencairn decanters. So if you really want the tasting glass, the Glencairn is it. Check it out online and get yourself a Glencairn, but you also can pick them up without the logos at pretty much anywhere that sells barware. And then we have Super Nash, Martin Nash, who is AV Fire Extinguisher Services. He services North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia for any of your fire safety needs. So he's right here, and he's been there the whole time.
He can tell you all about it.
Whatever. You're welcome there, Super Nash. And then I got to drink up this bourbon.
Yeah, drink up that bourbon. Refresh yourself with some water.
Honestly, of the three, the two ryes and this bourbon, and I do like all three, all drinkable whiskeys, but the bourbon was I think I like the ryes a little bit better than the bourbon.
That is very surprising for you to say. Yeah. I think we just said the same thing at the same time, Martin.
Wait, I can't put the water in front of your face. I just put the water in front of.
Yeah, just put it.
Hey, Super Nash. Anyways,
so we're going to go on to the next one. So this is the single barrel. Yeah, this is the one that I know I had several glasses of at the launch.
Yeah, at the launch, this actually Ryan asked me what I liked the best. Like once I was back here in Ohio, he texted me and I was like, I'd have to admit I like the single barrel the best. He's like, well, over the signature, and I'm like, dude, I like what I like. So, but today we're gonna find out because let's barrel batch.
I'm excited to try this one because I ended up leaving the party earlier before that got passed out, so I have not had a chance to try the signature bourbon.
Did you have to leave the party because it was passed out? No.
No. I didn't have to leave the party because the party was passed out. I had to leave the party for other reasons.
Yes, yes. I was just, you said passed out and leave the party, so that in itself was the reason why I had to say that.
I was not passed out. I was controlling myself very well because I knew that was coming around.
So let's barrel bash both these. So
okay,
I'm gonna do a executive decision and we'll barrel bash both these.
I like that idea.
Are you up for a barrel bashing contest there?
Got a motion and I'm ready for it.
All right.
Well, I love what it does in the glass.
You pervert. You pervert.
Yeah, what it does in the glass is it disappears.
It dances. Now this is a much more. Oh my God, does it smell good? There's the vanilla. All right, wait. I have got tasting notes on this one.
Out of all of these, this is definitely the darkest in color. It finally has that like golden, not quite a really dark amber, but it has a nice golden color, whereas the others were really light.
Okay, let's see if I can get it. Is the single barrel, there's just this Luca Mariano small batch bourbon, the signature small batch. Nope, this is not
single
there.
Barrel is not in the
Pamphlet, so
pamphlet,
I'll take these glasses back off. All right, I'm getting a ton. If you want to talk about vanilla custard, this bitch has vanilla custard. This is like vanilla custard ice cream. It's right there.
I definitely get the creamy smell, like that ice cream kind of a smell flavor.
Oh. With the hazelnut. So
but
it's
the
like,
other one was vanilla custard pie.
Well, this is vanilla custard ice cream.
Without the pie.
It's an ice cream.
Right.
I get the vanilla bean ice cream.
Oh my God, it's so good.
It's tasty.
You tasted it? Cheater!
I can taste it through my nose. That's how good my nose is.
Fuck you. Alright, here we go.
Wow.
Here we go, we're barrel bashing this bitches.
It's bringing back all the memories of those 5 barrels that we picked.
Damn, I love this bourbon.
Ooh.
This bourbon is a single barrel, so it's pretty fucking awesome that we're doing that. I mean, this is good ass bourbon.
It's got a nice black pepper taste on the very back end.
I that night, this is what I went to. I must have had 4 or 5 of those over the 6 hours we were there. We were there from 4 hours that we were there. We were there from 4 to 6. I mean 2 to 6.
2 to 6, yeah.
And they were done too.
Yeah, I think I had 4 or 5, and then I had some of the other stuff. But I did stay away from the rye. I'm kicking myself why, but I still, I'm going to drink bourbon over rye any day. This one kicks everything's ass so far.
I never did even try the rye while I was there.
Me neither.
Single barrel the whole.
Well, I did manage to try some of the single barrel rye before I left.
What's the proof on this?
Really tasty. The proof on this is the same as the single barrel rye. It's 103.
Wow, it drinks smooth for a 103.
Mm-hmm.
I could drink this all fucking night. I really could, couldn't you? I'd have to get a hold of this. But like single barrels, all single barrels, it's just one barrel, and the next one can be different.
Yeah, it'll be similar but slightly different.
But I would,
similar.
Super Nash, would you say this is sweeter and a little bit more complex than Blanton's?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Definitely. I mean, you're not getting a horse topper with it or a really cool bottle, but I would say this is a little bit better than Blanton's, and I like Blanton's.
Yeah, most definitely. Blanton's is plain compared to this. I mean, this is really complex in the flavors and the smell too.
And it's got a nice Kentucky hug, which the one was missing. And it's a sweet, leathery finish. It doesn't go to dark chocolate, so it's leathery for me.
Oh yeah,
and it's there. It's long. We are talking medium to long. All right, so let's go do some
So we're
barrel bashing. So the person who usually kills the score for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys is
Young Nose.
Yeah, so Young Nose.
Probably going to kill the score again on this.
Yeah, you always do. But yeah. Anyways,
It won't be that bad.
Go ahead on the nose, fucker.
Are you talking to me or Super Nash?
No, you.
Okay.
Kill the score.
So the nose is probably what I like the most out of this, and other than the finish. So the finish and the nose are probably right around the same. But the nose is definitely delicious. It has a nice vanilla smell. It has a little oak and a little ethanol, but it's that vanilla bean ice cream. It's delicious. So I gave it a 3 for the nose.
Okay, Super Nash, what are you going to give this nose?
Barrel bashing over there.
Good nose there, and I'm going to give it a 3 too. I really like the nose. It's really good and sweet, and I get that vanilla bean ice cream right off the bat.
Was that somebody at the door?
No, that was somebody that missed the bung and just hit the barrel.
I'm going to miss the bong. He said bong. All right. I love the vanilla. I love the custard. I love a little bit. It's right up there, but I agree. I'm going to hit this fucker 3 times. Bam! Alright,
so am I starting again? With
go! Go! Kill the buzz.
Kill the score.
Kill the buzz.
Okay. The taste on this one is good. I get a nice vanilla oak at front. At the back of the taste, it kind of has a little black pepper, which is not bad. It's just not something that I prefer on a taste. I really like a nice smooth, not really a big kick in the mouth. But I don't drop it too hard. I just gave it a 2. It's still delicious. It's good bourbon. So I give it a taste.
That makes no sense, but I gave it 2. You're up,
How
Martin.
does that not make any sense? I mean,
You said it's delicious in a 2.
It's delicious, but it's not like over the top delicious. Like
That would be a 4.
of all the stuff that I've tasted, this is like.
You know what? Super Nash, I think I know why his scores are always low, because he doesn't actually understand what he's scoring. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, maybe. I'm not a bourbon steward.
You're almost.
I have enough experience to be considered one, but I'm not officially one.
Well, me and Super Nash are going to be like officially in
Yeah, I
September.
know.
That's going to be fucking awesome.
So, but I mean, what I'm tasting is what I'm tasting, and I get the vanilla and the caramel, I get the oak, and it has a little black pepper, but there's nothing really anything in there special to make it go, oh yeah!
You know, that's a 4, but sure. But you know, I got a hammer in my hand, and you just better stop. I'm just kidding. Super Nash, what are you giving that taste?
I'm going to give it a 2.
What the
See? Super Nash agrees with Young Nose.
Hey Ryan, just so you know, fuck these guys.
I'm at a 3.
What?
I'm giving it I'll be right back.
What? What just happened? Oh, he's answering the door.
Yeah,
All right.
he had an intermission, commercial break.
Did he say he's
Play
giving
the
it?
sponsorship, go!
Did he say he's giving it a 3? Did he up it to a 3? Was this a first
I don't
ever
know.
for
I
the
think he
Scotchy
said
Bourbon
2,
Boys?
and then he's like, wait, no, I gotta give it a 3.
And then he's like, I'll be right back. He must have to pee. All right, I'll give it mine. And you guys, just so you know, because this is an added score, and I would give this a 3, but since you both gave it 2s, fuck you. 4. So I'll up the score.
Put it up.
There was no put up. All right, so he's going to be back, but you can give you're back, Super Nash. Did you answer the door?
Yeah, somebody came to the door there. Technical difficulty.
So what happened with you went from a 2 to a 3 or what?
Dude, I meant 3. And like I say, somebody was knocking on the door, and that
No,
So
I think you meant 3. You just didn't want to agree with Young Nose because he kills the score all the time.
So just so you know, Somebody's knocking at the door. Somebody ringing the bell.
Alright,
So I gave it a 3, but because I would give it a 3 too, Super Nash, but because Young Nose gave it a 2, I gave it a 4 for Ryan. So I give it a 4 as far as it tastes. I do love this. I do like this bourbon. This was the bourbon that I liked, and I very much enjoy it. I look forward to being able to purchase it. All right, so that brings us to body.
To the body.
So I'm going to go first on the body. 3. It's full mouth. It's everything. It's not the perfect bourbon. 4s usually happen with barrel strengths. This is a 103, correct? So
Yes.
It was full mouth and everything was good. So I give it a 3.
I gave it a 2.
What about you, Super Nash? Well, you could always give it a 4, and then I give one a 4. You give it a 4, and we counteract that fucker.
I give it a 3 because I think it's got pretty good mouthfeel to it. Like I say, I like it. So I'm giving it a 3 across the board.
Okay.
The only reason I did not give it a 3 or higher on the body, I feel like I have to explain myself every time I rate.
You don't have
Because
to.
the smell with the vanilla bean ice cream and then the body flavor, yeah, it was a little bit thicker. It's a 103 proof, but it did not have that creamy feel throughout. It did not have that creamy feel. It was a little bit light. So with what I'm expecting with the vanilla ice cream smell, I want a nice, thick, creamy, buttery body. And you can take that however you want, Tiny, because it's nice.
Creamy, buttery body. Nice. Are we talking about, what the fuck are we talking about? Men or
We're talking about ladies. Not men.
Alright, anyways, it's getting out of control. Alright, Supernatural, what you giving this finish?
We haven't even gotten to the Scotchy Bourbon Boy meeting yet either.
Yeah, no, and we're going to be fucked. Anyways, what you giving this Supernatural?
Finish, a medium hug to it. Nice little peppery finish on the back. I'm giving it a 3. Solid 12.
I would have to say I agree with the finish. It's a good finish. I like it. It's medium to long, and it's sweet. Everything I want. It doesn't discourage or change what I liked off the taste and the nose.
I actually agree with the both of you, and I gave it a 3 also. I do enjoy that slight leathery finish, but then it goes sweet. It has a little bit of oak mixed in there. The heat really kind of carries through. It's a nice warm finish. I really, really enjoy that, so I gave it a 3.
All right, so that brings us to 10.
Signature bourbon!
No. Pour some water while I add up the scores. 10 for Young Nose. I was 7 and 6. I was 13 and 12 for, so we got 25, 35 divided by 3 comes out to, let's see, 11.1. 11.5, sure. We'll go. We give this 11.5 out of 16 as a collective group. This brings me to see what I'm kind of excited to taste this bourbon.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I've heard some rumors about this, that this is a bourbon Scotch mix.
Which why I wasn't that excited. I like the single barrel initially over it, but we'll find out tonight. But with that
with that
nice. Yes, it's buttery.
That ass is buttery and cream.
What the fuck? Anyways, so this just as don't be giving me your glass. So anyways, this was the toast. We toasted to the launch with Francesco at the launch, which was kind of cool. I enjoyed it. I would have to say, but this is I had another one after that, but this is a much darker, richer. This is a little bit more amber.
Yeah.
Here is my signature. And this is something that I developed on my own. I love Scotch, I love bourbon, and so I wanted to do something special where it's 51% corn, it's bourbon, but we do the balance with malted barley. And we smoke the malted barley with one of my favorite woods to cook with. It's a trade secret, but so it gives you completely different flavors, and I think it's unique to the industry and brings some new value. And that's what we're sharing with you today.
Color, let's see what it does in your glass.
So this is probably going to be that creamy mouthfeel that I'm looking for.
But of all the body, this is the biggest body on the glass. The legs are uniform, they're thick, and they're slow to go back into this rich, dark amber. This is like almost, it's not quite a dark beer, but almost. Very, very nice. So let's give it a nose. Ooh. Sweet.
Ooh, that's very sweet.
It's like a Sweet Knob Creek.
Sweet Knob Creek. That should be the name of the song. Sweet Knob Creek. I don't know how it's going to go, but that's going to be the title of the song.
What was that?
I was just showing the bottle of the label of the bottle.
I think we've got all of everything covered as far as that goes. So let's, there's not as much vanilla, there's something else.
I get a lot more caramel on this one.
I get something just a little astringent. Like sour. What is that? It's very oaky. What is the proof on this?
This is 107.
Okay, so we're up to okay. I do have the tasting notes on this one. This is the signature Francesco S. Viola signature bourbon. It's smoked malted barley. Mild cherry and brown sugar nose, light in body with strong malt and mild but sweet fruit notes, medium long finish with a touch of malt and charred oak to highlight its bourbon characteristics.
Yeah.
Let me see.
The brown sugar and the cherry.
I smelled it. It's almost like that pie cherry.
The maraschino.
No. The pie cherry is that a little bit sour cherry. It's not a red cherry. It's
like the black cherries.
A tart cherry.
Yes, this is the tart.
I still get a lot of caramel. I still get a lot of caramel and oak.
Yeah, caramel.
I get the brown sugar, I get the cherry, and I get the oak. Now that I've been told what it is, I can smell it. That's one of the things when you're tasting. I always feel that first smell it yourself, first nose it yourself, then kind of come up with what you're trying to come up with, and then when you read the reviews of what other people are getting, a lot of times that's a good direction to go into so you recognize what you're smelling as you keep going developing your palate.
Well, time. This bourbon is delicious.
Yeah, you would think so. See, once again,
that is good.
I like it. It's sweet.
Oh, it's so sweet.
But it's got the
nice, malty, smoky taste.
It tastes
afterwards.
It tastes like Scotch.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't quite taste. It's not fully Scotch.
It's not fruity. It's cherry Scotch, which would be considered. And I'm not meaning this any way, but this is like drinking cherry NyQuil.
No, that was Jack Daniels. The Jack Daniels meeting we had, I was tasting nothing but straight cough syrup.
I can't wait. I can't wait to break my promise to your wife because we are going to be fucking drinking Booker's tonight. And both of us are lit.
She asked me too what the agenda was for the Scotchy Bourbon Boy meeting. So what do you taste tonight? I said, well, it's the Booker's meeting. We're having Booker's. All the different Booker's bourbons. But I did not tell her that was barrel straight bourbons.
I will be pouring your samples to keep you a little bit, and we're going to have to do something in between. We still got a couple hours before the meeting, and a lot of stuff to do as far as that goes. But anyways, let's barrel bash this one.
Yeah, we got a barrel bash this one.
So I'm going to go first. The nose for me on this one is a 2.
2.
It's a 2.
You're bringing it down, man. You're talking about me bringing it down.
You're going to have to compensate for me on this one, buddy, because the single barrel is by far, in my opinion, I gave it a 13 out of 16. But see, folks, this is exactly why Young Nose and Tiny make a great tasting team, because it really accentuates palates. It's like your palate's your palate. Don't drink something you don't like because you're supposed to like it. Drink it because you like it. And palates are different. His palate and my palate are totally different.
That's why we're having a rant off about Kirkland.
Yeah,
we're gonna could be coming.
Yeah, I can't wait, because that's just what fucking bourbon is fucking not. Kirkland. Hey, let's go to Costco and get some bourbon. Yeah, fuck Costco. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, well, that's for another podcast.
Yeah,
to be continued.
Sorry, Martin. We were at Super Nash. We were having this discussion in the car while we were picking up the Mother's Day cake on the way over. Anyways, so what are you getting on that nose?
Yeah, we'll go Martin first.
Let's see what Martin thinks.
I'm gonna give the nose. We'll get to the taste in a second, as far as my palate. But I'm giving the nose a 3 because I like that nose on it because of what all I'm getting off of it. So I'm giving it a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to agree with Martin. I gave it a 3 also. It is a very good nose. It has a nice butterscotch. I'm sorry, not a butterscotch.
Yeah,
brown
thank
sugar.
you. Where the hell is
brown sugar? My fault. That is totally my bad. Brown sugar with a lot of caramel, some slight oak, and it yeah. So I gave it a 3.
It might.
I'm just gonna.
It might have the Scotch part of it. There's no butterscotch involved
with that char cherry, the little tartness in there too.
But see, once again, I'm not. I like burnt things, but I'm not a huge fan when it gets like with those that you have to scrape the burnt off, and that's similar. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
so who's going next on the taste?
I am.
Okay, go.
I like the front end.
I give it taste.
What do you give it?
I give it a 2.
Way to fucking jump in front of me.
Dude! A 2? The hell's wrong with you?
Because it just, once that smokiness and that Scotch part of it hits my palate, it just takes away the rest of the flavors of the bourbon to me. And I can't quite get past that. And so that's why I gave it a 2.
I concur. I like the sweetness on the front. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't. There's no bourbons. There's only better bourbons. No bad bourbons, and it's not a bad bourbon. But I concur.
I gotta get my hands on this bottle.
I give it. Oh. You can have that sample. Actually, I'll trade you out my sample for. I'll take the 2 single barrels, and you can walk out with the 2 signatures.
So you're going to take the single barrel rye and
no. No, I'm going to take the single barrel bourbon and the single barrel bourbon, and you're going to take the 2 signatures. There's my samples over there, and we're drinking your samples, but you can walk away with 2 signatures, and I'll walk away with 2, 1.5 of each. Fair trade. You like this better than the single barrel, right?
Okay, this is my counteroffer. I will agree to give you the other single barrel bourbon, and I will also take the regular rye, the old American.
I'm not going to drink the rye. You can have yes. So I like the rye. I'm not saying I don't.
So you can have the regular bourbon and the single barrel bourbon, and I take.
You're going to knock that hammer right off thing one of these times. It's just balancing. Where did the other one come from? You brought it?
I brought it. I didn't know if you had one or not, so I just brought it. So now it's part of the display.
2 hammers. All right. So I gave it a 2. He gave it a 2. What you giving this taste?
Okay, the taste for me, this is absolutely incredible. I love the caramel brown sugar sweetness up front. Oh, this is so good. And then as soon as you go to swallow the back end of the taste, it hits you with that smoky honey malt taste. Oh yeah. I gave this a 4 with the butt up. Fuck y'all, bitches.
Butt up. Holy shit! He comes through. Luca Mariano. All right. Anyways, so I'm not going to let Super Nash jump in front of me on the body. I give the body 4. I give it 4 because this definitely, that's the strong point of this bourbon. The front is good, but it is full mouth experience. I think that's part of the reason why it's so much of a body, that the smokiness aspect overtakes everything for me. But I can't deny the taste in my mouth is the whole damn thing. So I got to give it a 4. So, Mr. Super Nash. Oh wait, I did. I gave it quick. So Super Nash can. I bashed the out of that thing.
Bashed that thing 4 times.
Yes, I did.
For tiny. But for me, I'm giving the body a 3. It's there. It's got a full mouth feel to it. And get all those flavors out through there. But it's still just not a 4 body for me. So I'll give it a 3.
I also agreed with you, Tiny, that I gave it a 4 on the body. It's pretty much, it's incredible. I can't.
All right, the finish. The finish is short to medium. You get a nice hug, but once again, it's got a smoky finish. I think I'm just trying to see if there's enough sweetness for me to give it a 2.
A 2? You're debating on a 1 or a 2?
Yeah, I'm debating on a 1 on the finish, but I'll give it a 2. There's enough sweetness in it. Super Nash.
Super Nash.
I have to give it a 3 because it does have a nice medium hug to it. And like I say, it goes all the way back. So it does what it's supposed to do. In the end, I don't like that smoky flavor right there at the end, but I'm not going to let that take away from what the actual finish is. So I'm giving it a 3.
And I agree with you, Super Nash. I also gave it a 3. It is a nice medium finish as far as taste and heat. I do like that it does have that smoky heat linger on the finish. It is sweet for me pretty much throughout. So I gave it a 3.
All right. Super Nash, what was your score?
11.
I gave it a 15.
11.
He gave it a 15 and I gave it a 10. So we're at 25. We're at 36. Where because Young Nose rated it like off the charts, and we didn't penalize them by taking points off our score. But at the same time, that's a 36, and that is a 12. So we rated the 11.5 for the single barrel and 12 for. Actually, I think it was 11 2/3 to 12. It was close, but the signature wins out.
Do you remember what the scores were for the single barrel? I gave it a 10.
Yeah, and then me and Martin, it came out to be, I don't remember. No, 11 and a third. So it was 10
I was gonna do the math on my calculator.
Well, it
but
was 11 point.
I'm the only one that wrote my
666.
scores down.
I gave it one more than Martin, and I think I gave it. Martin gave it a 12, and I gave it a 13. So it was 25. It was 35 was the score, and 36 was the score of the other one.
Yeah, so it was 11 2/3.
Right. So it was 11 2/3 to 12.
Right.
So that was how close they were. But so the difference, honestly,
Was Young Nose.
But up. No, it was Young Noses. It was Young Noses, but up. He gave a category. Otherwise, it was perfect. So the two of them were the same. So in the single barrel, I like the single barrel a lot, a lot, and Young Nose like
I love the signature bourbon.
Very
A lot.
A lot.
I need to get some bottles, Ryan. Please send them out.
So the whole barrel picking experience was fantastic. There was a bunch of not that we could go into anything, but the drama was definitely of the whole day was definitely from 2 to 6. There was drama. There was just. Oh, we never ever mentioned Tyler Mayne. Tyler Mayne was part of this barrel pit. Tyler Mayne is best known for playing Michale Meyer in Halloween, but also he played Sabretooth in the original X-Men before Liv Tyler. I think his name is Liv something. Liv Schreiber. Yeah, Liv Schreiber. And then he also has a new show coming on Netflix, but he was the host of Cocktails of the World, and they were shooting their first ever episode here at the Luca Mariano launch, and then he was part of the barrel pick. So shout out to Tyler Mayne. We all got to talk to him, and it was just a phenomenal experience. Hopefully we can get him on a Scotchy Bourbon Boys podcast in the future. That would be really cool. He showed some interest, and what you can do is when you see the Cocktails of the World first episode, we should be on it. We were in a good amount of the footage that they were shooting. Hopefully we didn't get edited out, but overall it was, I know, I've seen it. I've done interviews for television shows in the past for art. I was a computer artist, and you talk and do an interview for 45 minutes and they show like 14 seconds. So, it just, you never know, but it was really cool. Check out the Cocktails of the World. The Scotchy Bourbon Boys are going to be on it. And it was wonderful today having Super Nash, and we're all together. The aspect of technology is really cool, but I think Young Nose has a little bit of an announcement to make because we're going to have to be doing some of this long distance thing in the future.
I think you were reading my mind. Like our brain waves were going off because I was just thinking about the same thing. And that is true. I do have an announcement. Young Nose here is going to be leaving the state of Ohio. My wife and I are in the process of selling our house, and we are moving to South Carolina, to the Charleston area.
Closer to Super Nash.
A little bit.
So Super Nash, that's gonna suck from a shipping standpoint. One way and one another. Or you could just leave them out and just keep sending it to me.
Hey.
Yes?
Did you get your sample? I shipped them all to Jeff, and he's supposed to get them to you.
Yeah.
You know how that's going to work. I'm just going to drink them the fuck all. Holy shit!
This is how you get him to send me the samples. Is you get bourbon mixed with scotch, and he won't like it, and then therefore he'll send it off to me.
Or I could always find another scotch lover.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
person there.
No, there's no replacing Young Nose, that's for sure. But I think in the future we'll be doing some remote podcasting. Then we can be doing some podcasting like this. Look forward to us on YouTube lately. We didn't mention that, but in the future, the YouTube is going to be a priority because we've really upped what we are about to do. Facebook Live, we've been doing some of that. That really worked out good. We've got an Apple iPhone camera that shoots quality video. Then we also, I had a Canon Mark II that I used to shoot stock photography with, but shoots video. Look forward, it shoots amazing video. It's movie quality video, and we really are going to be upping our game when it comes to that. And then all of us are going to be meeting in Kentucky and doing what we've been doing in the past to provide you with awesome footage and experiences. Look forward to that. But remember, we are the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, and you want to support us on Patreon. Go to www.scotchybourbonboys.com. Hit that Patreon, support us, but also know that in the future we are going to bring you some really, really high quality video, YouTube, and we will keep podcasting and keeping everybody updated on what's happening in the whiskey world.
Whiskey world.
So, anybody have anything else to add?
I would just say that while you're on the Scotchy Bourbon Boy website, check out the Scotchy blog. There we have a monthly blog that I myself write, Young Nose here. This month's episode or blog is on the whiskey tasting tools, so go check that out on the website and learn all about some different tools to help you in your quest, in your adventure, in your journey of becoming more affiliated with your whiskey.
Wonderful. How about you, Super Nash? Anything to add?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, be on the lookout, all you Scotchy Bourbon Boy members, we're going to be giving away some bottles here in the near future.
Oh, yeah!
And also some samples, so be on the lookout for the details of that and help us grow.
All right, everybody. Another podcast in the books. We will talk to you next time. So remember, good bourbon equals good friends and good times. Until next time, goodbye, everybody.
Cheers, everyone.
Uh-oh. Here, let me see.
Wait a minute.
Wait, hold on.
We haven't left yet.
There we go.
There's Jim Morrison.
We got Jim Morrison live, 1967 at the Matrix, taking us out.
God bless them. That happens.
Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die.
We are done.
That is Scotchy bourbon right there.
Yeah. It's all fucking yours. I mean, I got way too much bourbon to even waste my time on that. Including, I love the single barrel. I mean, I'm excited. I like that bourbon. I would buy that fucking bourbon. So how the hell are you? Are you gonna chime in for the? Did I sauce you too much so that you're gonna? You saw I sent you the link to the YouTube or the.
Oh,
the Zoom meeting.
I just took a picture.
You can't take a picture. It's not for pictures.
Why not?
You started it. See that little red dot? You just gotta turn off the whole camera by the left. It's on the bottom to your right. See where it says on off? There you go. Flip that to the right way.
Off.
There. Now it's stopped.